Hello and welcome back to Book Review with a Buzz. It's been a while, hasn't it? And there's a really good reason for that, but I'll tell you about that later. What I'm going to do, what happened was Adventure Bike TV did an interview with me about they were doing a theme, people who make a living out of the adventure bike riding phenomenon, which obviously I don't, or else I wouldn't have to do this. But anyway, they interviewed me and I put it on YouTube, and I was surprised how many hits I got and how many people liked it. And I thought, oh, there's a little audience out there and they're all locked down, and maybe it's a good time to do a book review of the Buzz. But I haven't read any books recently. I've been very busy. A lot of projects on the go. More about that later. I think I said that already. However, this is one I've been thinking about reviewing for a long time. Now, my horizons are quite unlimited, and I don't just read motorcycle travel books. I also, I love biographies, any kind of biography, but the other thing I like is deprivation. Real, true stories of total debauchery and hopelessness. Addiction and absolute depravity. I think, why does it appeal? It appeals because I suppose it makes whatever I indulge in seem far more manageable, and I don't have a problem at all. There's no problem here, not why we've got some red wine. But I think I'm going to take a sip actually. But I mean, there's some shite ones, of course, as there are in any genre, but there's some stunning ones. And the book I'm going to tell you about now is one of my favourites. I've never read it. I've only got it as an audio book, and I've probably listened to it 6 times now. It's called Dry, and it's by a guy called Augusten Burroughs. Now, Augustine is gay, he's American, he lives in New York, and he works in advertising. So he's got absolutely fuck all in common with me. But I love this book. It is about falling into the depths of alcoholism, but it's a story with humour, and you can absolutely relate to his character. I don't know how I came across it. I've read a lot of these about various addictions, from crack to heroin to alcohol. As I say, and maybe if people like this recommendation, I will start talking about books of addiction in my book review of the Buzz. How ironic will that be? So this is one of my recent favourites. So Augustine works in advertising. He's got several books out. I haven't listened or read the others, and this is really bad, based on they haven't got fabulous reviews. And I've listened to little trials, and it's a little bit like, relating this back to overland travel. If you've been to a country or a place and had the best time, this has happened to me in Mongolia, it happened to me in Laos, so good, you don't want to taint those memories. You will never go back because you know it will never be as good as it was the first time. And therefore, you're done. You saw, you visited, you experienced, you have that memory, you never want to go back. It's a little bit like that with Augustine's books, which is terrible. That's not what an author wants to hear. No, I love that so much, I don't want to read your others. Maybe I will in the future. But anyway, so let's go back to Dry. So, talks about troubled childhood, but ultimately, he's working in advertising. He's having a drink, he's having a good time, he's got his friends, he's partying, and slowly, the drinking becomes an issue. And again, it's a thin line between reviewing and spoiling, and I don't really want to tell you exactly what happened, but it is a wonderful description, a great story, and he is cynical, he is reluctant, he goes forced into these rehabs and AA meetings. But ultimately, they work for him. Thank God they work for him, because if they didn't, there'd be no book, there'd be no Augustine. And so I can't recommend this book enough. Like I said, I've listened to it probably 5 or 6 times. The last time we were doing some decorating at my girlfriend's house, and she's heard me enthuse about this book. And as opposed to playing some music while we decorating, I said, listen, why don't we put this audio book on? And we probably got 3 chapters in, and the decorate was done. But again, it was so compelling. I listened to it all the way through. Yeah, Dry by Augusten Burroughs. At this point, I'd normally be holding up a copy, but I don't have a copy because I bought it on audiobook. Oh, so he reads it himself, which is always, I think, embellishes a book. Oh, real enhancement when the author reads it. There's always going to be something, isn't there? He does some English accents, and there are a few Americans who can do English accents well. The chick who did Bridget in Bridget Jones's Diary, what's her name? Zigamundum. But anyway, she can do it well. Augusten isn't the best, but it doesn't really detract from the narrative unless you're English. And you think, what? But anyway, other than that, he's a brilliant narrator. It's a really well done book. So rather a quick, short book review with a buzz. It was really a spontaneous thing, as I say. And perhaps you're all locked down. Perhaps everyone's a little bit fed up. Perhaps you need some entertainment. Perhaps you're worried about your drinking. And honestly, there's nothing to worry about. Everything will be just fine. What did I see earlier? Red wine, the glue that's holding this shit show together. We'll all be all right. Don't worry about it. I thoroughly recommend this book. And one more thing. So if you've been following my book reviews with a buzz, I've been following the progress of the XT there, it has come to a complete standstill. Not least because of the other projects that I'm not mentioning, but also because the motherfucker gave me a hernia. Apparently, at 54 years old, kicking over a 500cc single-cylinder bike is not conducive to stopping bulges in your groin. So I had an hernia operation, which hasn't gone brilliant in the recovery process, 6 weeks now. So I've picked a brilliant time to have a lockdown. I couldn't ride if I wanted to. So the XT remains unfinished, and actually I find it quite a loathsome being at the moment, the bastard thing. I mean, I only bought it because it reflected me youth of the ones I used to have, and I don't ever remember it being something that induced such pain. Certainly not an operation. So anyway, that's the story so far. If you want to see the scar, call me. Thanks for listening to Book Review with a Buzz. Honestly, it's a really good one. Dry. See ya.